Stream is live. Oh, wait. Stream is live.
There's a request for doing Dua Shifa for Sister Farida Bayat and Brother Amir Jafri, and for other relatives that I've been announcing for the last few days for community members and their relatives. Let's recite 5 times Amma Yujib. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Amman yujibul mustarriza da'ahu wa yakshifu su.
أمن
أمن
يجيب
يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء
أمن
أمن
يجيب
يجيب المضطر
المضطر
إذا
إذا
دعاه
دعاه
ويكشف
ويكشف
السوء
السوء
أمن
أمن يجيب
يجيب المضطر
المضطر
إذا
إذا
دعاه
دعاه
ويكشف
ويكشف
السوء
السوء
أمن
أمن
يجيب
يجيب
المضطر
المضطر
إذا
إذا
دعاه
ويكشف
ويكشف السوء. Can I
Can I
request the
request the
sisters
sisters to
who join at the back of the hall? The program is going to we're going to start the program. Today's program was sponsored by Brother Najaf Rizvi and Sister Shafa, Brother Mursal Ghori and family, and program was sponsored by Brother Adil and Sister Fatma Shamir for their darajat. Let's recite a loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajal farajam. For your Momineen, for the Momineen whose name is on the monument of Zahra and for whom there is no one to recite Surah Fatiha, and for the Momineen of today's sponsors whose names are as following: Sayyid Jafar Ghori, Shurab Ali Khan, Bahrawal, Muhammad Arad, Muhammad Akbar, Ghulam Muhammad, Rabia Muhammad, Muhammad Ali Bayat, Shah Begum Bayat, Samaya Rahmani, Roya Faizi, Imam Hamidi, Bibi Mariam, Bibi Gul Rezai, Gul Afsha Agar, Muhammad Aziz Bayat, Sayyid Mahmudul Hassan Rizvi, Sayyida Saghir Fatma, Sayyid Mahfuzul Hassan Rizvi, Sayyid Ali Akbar Akhtar Jafri, Sayyid Shabirul Hassan Rizvi, Sayyida Kazma Khatun, Sayyida Nazma Khatun, Sayyid Muhammad Jafri, Sayyida Abda Khatun, Mir Zainul Abdin, Zahra Zainul Abdin, Sayyida Hashmat Zahra, Urf Lara, Anis Ali Mir, Sayyid Abul Hashim Jafri, Sayyid Ali Jafri, Ehtisham Naqvi, Sayyid Ali Munawwar Jafri, Sayyid Shabir Bukhari, Sayyida Azra Shabir, Sayyid Manzoor Kazmi, Sayyida Ijaz Begum, Sayyid Vilayat Hussain, Sayyida Roshan Jan, Fidaullah Khan, Amtul Rauf, and all Digar Marhumin Marhumat. Let's recite to Surah Fatiha. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Couple of announcements. We will have so the program tomorrow will again start like today. We'll have Dua Iftitah, Quran recitation Dua Iftitah, followed by Namaz and Iftar, and then we'll have Sayyid recite the speech, and then we'll have all-night Amal. On 14th, on Friday, we have Quds Day at Lake Elizabeth. We have in the evening we have Quran quiz on Surah Dukhan. On Saturday, April 15th, we have pre-Eid Chandrat. And then for Eid, we are requesting that you register for the Eid. So the registration link is available on the website. It will be a combined Eid at Lake Elizabeth. There is also, I was looking at the notes, the email that was sent out. Please make sure that you have either Venmo or Zelle on your phone, because this year, unlike previous years, there will not be Eid bucks, and you will be using your Zelle app or Venmo. Right. Okay. With the that, with your loud salawat, I would like to request Brother Muhammad Ali to recite source. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
بر محمد و آل محمد صلوات. فضیلت کا بیان ہے اب تک فضیلت کا بیان ہے اب تک تاریخ زمانہ نگراں ہے اب تک جس در سے گئی بنت اسد کعبے میں جس در سے بنت اسد کعبے میں دیوار میں اس در کا نشان ہے اب تک محمد صلوات.
بارے دیگر صلوات. اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد. ہم اس کو گزارش کریں برادر سجاد نیچے سے وہاں کے ساتھ گزارش کریں.
محمد والے محمد صلوات. آنکھوں کی پیاس دل کا تقاضا حسین ہے، آنکھوں کی پیاس دل کا تقاضا حسین ہے، بے چین جس کے غم میں ہے دنیا حسین ہے، آنکھوں کی پیاس دل کا ہے منزل ابد کا اشارہ حسین ہے، منزل ابد کا اشارہ حسین ہے، زندہ ہے وہ کہ جن کی تمنا حسین ہے، آنکھوں کی پیاس دل کا غم ان کا مل گیا تو زمانے کا غم نہیں، غم ان کا مل گیا تو زمانے کا غم نہیں، سارے غموں کا ایک مداوا حسین ہے، آنکھوں کی پیاس دل کا ہے اہتمام حکم مشیت میں تشنہ لب ہے، اہتمام حکم مشیت میں تشنہ لب، ورنہ خود اپنی ذات میں دریا حسین ہے، آنکھوں کی پیاس دل کا صلوات۔
پارے دیگر صلوات اللہم صلی علی محمد. Now I'd like to request Seyed, Hujjatul Islam Seyed Hadi Yassin to recite the Majlis. Jilal Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali.
السلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ. اعوذ باللہ من الشیطان اللعین الرجیم. بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. الحمد للہ والصلاة والسلام علی سیدنا و نبینا حبیب قلوبنا ابی القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى اهل بیتہ الطیبین الطاہرین واللعنة الدائمة على اعدائهم اجمعین من الآن الى لقاء یوم الدین. بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي امري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. May Allah inshallah accept our prayers, our amal, our fasting, and inshallah make this zakhira and reward for dunya wal akhirah ببركة salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Our condolences on the Shahadat of our beloved Imam Amiral Momineen Imam Ali alayhi salatu wassalam. First and foremost to Imam of time and to you all Mu'mineen and Mu'minat. May Allah give us tawfiq to be among the best of the followers, and inshallah to have the honor of being among the Shia of Amir al-Momineen, inshallah. Aside from our emotional and spiritual feeling towards this personality of Amir al-Mu'mineen, when you look at the history of human beings, not human history of Islam, you see that you would not find anyone like this personality of Amir al-Mu'mineen among anyone else. Indeed, it's unique, coming out of the Islamic feelings, as who he was from Islamic perspective and how we feel from him. Just introduce his personality to anyone who have a little bit of the aql salim and understand truth, and show to them that this is this person, this is his lifestyle, this is what he has done. See what we talk about him. Literally, let's do it, all of us, with anyone else, right? Throughout the life, when it comes to ma'soom, an infallible person, we shouldn't pick one portion of their life and just focus on that. We should look at them from the beginning to the end, how they lived in this world, to get the bigger picture of who they were. When it comes to Seyed Shahadat, we shouldn't just look at Karbala, just stay at Imam Hussein. No. When we look at Abu Fadl Abbas, not just Abu Fadl Abbas in Karbala, what made him to be Abbas, what made Sayyid Zainab to become Sayyid Zainab, that they could pass the biggest examples in Musibah with the best possible result. Who was Amir al-Mu'mineen in general, that he became Hadi, what he did. But we can't do anything in these short times unless pick some portions of their life, their speeches, and their lifestyle, talk about it to understand who these personalities were. Usually, towards the end of the life of anyone, any person, is one of the most important times that you can hear from them. You can understand their life perspective, how they are, what they say usually, right, towards the end. If you want to see indeed the wisdom and hikmat of a person, look at their asar, look at what they left behind themselves. Look at their will, look at their nasihat, right? Look what they say. After the darbat of Amir al-Mu'mineen and until the shahadat of him, we mentioned a few speeches and words that he mentioned, some mulaqat and meetings that he had. But it's amazing if you look at his will that he gave to Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein, and what did he say in those phrases that he talked about. That's amazing towards the end of this person's Amir of Mu'mineen, the commander of faithful, right? The second important person that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created after Rasulullah. What is he trying to say? What are the concerns of this person towards the end of his life? That's, after the zarbat, it's like 1 or 2 days he's over, right? He said, Qadan mufaragakum. Today I'm with you, tomorrow I'm leaving you. What are his concerns? So when he talked to Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein, the first thing he says before we go to Nasihat, he says, remember my qatil, my murderer. Make sure you be very just towards him. Make sure, look, he says, from my food, give to him. From my own water, give to him as well. Do not, put him in it. If I pass away, if you want to do qisas, only he gave me one strike, one zarbat. And if you want to do it, only one. Ya Ali, you're spending your time worrying about someone who came and he hit you, right? You're so concerned that you're giving nasihat. Imam says to Imam Hassan, make sure, because after my shahadat, people are becoming very emotional. They might come and do something towards this person. Do not let them. Control your emotions. Don't make a big chaos out of my shahadat. Make sure people would not have their hands on this person. Who would come and keeps talking and talking about his own murder? Be nice to him. If you want to do qisas and retaliation, only one strike. And if I stay alive, then I know what I do. And I know I'm going to forgive him. But after me, only this. So his concern, not during his life, is after his life, people would follow with justice. Do not, with his own murder. Put this in front of anyone in this world that they are social activists, they know justice, they work. Anyone, forget about those. Says we're talking about this personality and this person, right? What do they say? What the history and tariq, how it is going to judge this personality. Then he comes and say a few phrases, inshallah. See how many of them I can translate and explain to you. أوصيكما بتقوى الله ولا تبقي الدنيا وإن بقتكما. I recommend you to have taqwa and piety. These are the last phrases of Ali. Nahj al-Balaghi is small portion of the art of Amiral Momineen, right? Small portion of it. Nahj al-Balagha, the peak of eloquence, is a small portion of who Ali is. And now it's towards the end of his advices. You have to write it down with gold. Make sure you have taqwa and piety. Make sure dunya, the world, would not deceive you, even if dunya comes after you. Because this is the nature of dunya. The more you don't pay attention to it, the more it comes after you. Make sure, even if dunya comes after you, you shouldn't be deceived by this dunya. وَلَا تَعْسَفَ عَلَى شَيْءٍ مِّنْهَا. Allahu Akbar. As a psychologist, look at what he's saying. He's saying that make sure whatever you have lost in this dunya, make sure it doesn't bother you. Don't go back. I wish I wouldn't. I wish I had. I wish I couldn't. Don't do that. It's gone. It's over. You can get lesson and ibra from it, right? But don't be so. The majority of our anxieties and depressions and problems we have is because of in the past something happened, right? Which just has effect on it. But we'll look at Amiral when he's saying. ولا تصف على شيء منها زوي عنكما وقولا بالحق. Talk based on haqq and truth. One of the reasons they couldn't stand with Amir al-Mu'min because he just talked about haqq and truth, right? وَعْمَلَا لِلْآجِ وَكُونُوا لِلظَّالِمِ خَصْمًا. When it comes to zalim and oppressor, be against the zalim. وَلِلْمَظْلُومَ عَوْنًا. Be the supporter of the mazlum and the one who is oppressed, right? وَنَظْمِ أَمْرِكُمْ, وَأَهْلِي. And then he says, أُوصِيكُمَا وَجَمِيعَ وَلَدِي. I give this nasiha to you two, Hassan and Hussein, and to my all children, وَمَنْ بَلَغَهُ كِتَابِي. And to whoever would hear these things. إِلَى يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ. How many children Amir al-Mu'mineen has, right? أَنَا وَعَلِيٌّ أَبَوَا هَذِهِ الْأُمَّةِ. Rasulullah says, me and Ali are the fathers of this ummah, that father figure. Make sure you have taqwa, nazm amrikum. Make sure you be organized. وَصَلَاهِ ذَاتِ بَيْنَكُمْ. Make sure if any of you see that any of your brothers and sisters, they have issue with each other, صَلَاهِ ذَاتِ بَيْنَكُمْ. Make sure you reconcile them. You put your effort, خِدْمَةِ بِخَلْقِ. You go after them, you support them, you help them. If you go towards the traditions, brothers and sisters, one of the best things that someone can do, a shortcut to success, if anyone, brothers and sisters or someone else, they have issue with each other, you reconcile them. More important than all, if between family members, if there's an issue, you support them, put them back together. More important than that, if husband and wife, they have some issue, you connect them, support them, help them to get back together. You don't know how tremendous amount of thawab you get with this, right? Look what he says. وَصَلَاهِ ذَاتِ بَيْنَكُمْ. Make sure you do this. Not yourself, only be kind and nice to others. Help others to be kind to each other. I heard سَمِعْتُ جَدَّكُمَا صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ. I heard from Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. What did Rasulullah said? يقول صلاح ذات البين أفضل من عامة الصلاة والصيام. If you can help someone, two people, get back to each other, reconcile them, it's better than 1 year of prayer and siyam and fasting. Sometimes we get lost in the path of iman. We think those who have more mustahabat and these things and rituals, there are those, mashallah. Success sometimes is somewhere else that you should look for it, right? You didn't have to drive 5 miles, 10 miles, 50 miles. You could go drive, 5 miles, get to your destination sooner, faster, better. Besides, of course, wajibat and muharram. These are different things, right? And now from here, Amir al-Mu'minin starts. Allah fil aytam, fala ta'bu afahum, wala yadhiqu bihadratikum. I recommend you, Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, he's saying, Allah, I recommend you to aytam, orphans. I want you to think about for a second, if anyone follow me, for a second imagine, towards the end of the life of this person, the most important person on the earth at that time, he is trying to say to do what? Allah bi aitam, take care of the aitam. Make sure they have everything they need to have. Make sure in front of them, they wouldn't have any issues. No one would take their rights. No one, oppress them. No one hurt them. No one, make sure you take care of them. All of us in Amir in this short time that he has, he talks about aitam. He talks about shortcuts towards success. Let me ask you, me and you, throughout the year, how many times you remember aitam, orphans? Anytime? You think about there are some orphan, some yatim around the world, they need help, they need support. Any of us would think about yearly, forget about monthly. And one of the biggest recommendations we have in Islam is about yatim. If it was Amir al-Mu'minin, I'll be honest, if Amir al-Mu'minin didn't say that at the time of Shahadat, Nasihat, I wouldn't say it. And just remember how many times you're hearing this. Take care of a yatim and aitam. Do you hear it often? No, I'm talking about myself. We might not even come to my mind. Oh, Maulana, we have salah, we have this, we have that, we have other things, we have program, we have majalis, we have marsiya, musibat, matam, right? The first thing he says, Allah bil aitam. This yatim can be someone in your family, friends, passed away, father passed away, mother passed away. First and foremost among us who we know. It can be anywhere else. It can be, I heard in Yemen there are children who are yatim, right? How can I tell them? How can I help them? This money, these things, specifically for Aitama, for example, in Pakistan, in India, in Iran, wherever, it doesn't matter, right? Sometimes you see these clips in what condition they're living. Do you think just because we're living on this side of the world, we don't have responsibility? Ummah of Islam, they're all connected to each other, right? They're all connected to each other. It's not just because I am living here, I don't have responsibility. Do you think people who at the time of Amir al-Mu'minin, they're living on the other side, didn't have responsibility towards Amir al-Mu'minin? Of course they had. Allah bil aitam. Look what some of the traditions, because Amir al-Mu'minin says, إن اليتيم إذا بكى اهتز للبكائه عرش الرحمن. When a yatim, an orphan, cries, the arsh of Allah starts shaking because of that. When yatim starts crying. And we become so insensitive about, here and there something happened. كن لليتيم كالأب الرحيم واعلم أنك تزرع كذلك تحصد. When it comes to yatim, you should become like a father, like a mother for them, like a parent. And make sure what you're doing with them and help them, it's like you're harvesting something for your akhirat. I see some Momineen are so smart. I mentioned a little bit last night. I don't know, is it like 100, 200, 300 per month? They'll become the guardian of a yatim back to another country that the money-wise, currency is more valuable. They can pay the whole, month of and cost of a yatim somewhere else. Every month they take care of the yatim, grow up, they send them to education, to a school. It's a pleasure that comes, right? Because when it's about my children, okay, after my children, I have to, it's wajah for me, nafaqa, right? But they're so smart thinking about other people. It's not my, yes, and you see someone become, sometimes you hear the story of successful people, entrepreneur, leaders. What happened? I was yatim. Someone took care of me, my guardian helped me, I grow up now because of them. Right? Our responsibility towards that. So number one, Allah fil aitam. We have our responsibility. I just opened this case, Amir al-Mu'minin says, however possible you think you can take care of it. If among the family, community, God forbid, and someone passes away, the children are specifically low, take care of them, be kind to them, be nice to them, do more muhabbat to them. Go visit them. Go take care of them if they need anything. Because sometimes we do it, in the first 7 days to stay home, and others, we're very kind and nice, then later on we forget about them. Allah Allah fi jiranikum فإنهم وصية نبيكم ما زال يوصي بهم حتى ظننا أنه سيورثهم. Allah Allah, I recommend you to who? To your neighbors. I recommend you to your neighbors. Be kind and respectful to them. Of course, we have different groups of neighbors. First, those neighbors who are shared, not only same proximity, but also in faith and iman as well. They are priority. Most of these things are about them. Sometimes there are, not only that, they're relatives and neighbors and faith in faith. They're the highest one. Sometimes the second group. There are the neighbors in faith, brothers and sisters in faith, and also sometimes just the neighbors. They might not be Muslim. Still, be kind and nice. This part is about the neighbors who are Muslim too. The Imam says, Rasulullah, he recommended the neighbors, we should be very careful about them, so much that we thought they would get earth from us, inheritance. It's like part of our, dependence. Allah Allah fi jiranikum. You know why Rasulullah says be careful with your neighbors? He just keeps talking about how respectful you should be. It's just talking about how considerate you should be. We have another tradition, make sure your voice is lower. The tradition says make sure if you're cooking food, your food doesn't bother your neighbor. Allahu Akbar. To what extent we're supposed to be careful with people around us. This weekend I can have program until, at night until 12, 1. Be kind. Specifically, I'm going to say now, if I am Muslim and my neighbor, they're not Muslim, I have to be even more careful. Why? Because I am the image of Islam in front of them. How many times happen for them to have a neighbor who is Muslim, right? I have to be way more careful. And I remember I had, one of the friends came to me and says, was so, respectful and nice to my neighbors, and when we wanted to move, they're not Muslim. When we wanted to move, they started crying. Says, please don't move. Wherever you go, we're going to come after you. Tell me where you're going, we're going to come buy a house where you go. How amazing it is, right? How nice and kind it is. You're the image of Islam. Not to be intimidated, by the way. Because sometimes on the other side, again, we fall down from the other side of the roof. We're so, oh my God, we're intimidated. We're not one of those bad Muslims. We're good Muslims. No, calm down. You're not supposed to be intimidated. I'm who I am, alhamdulillah. I'm respectful as I have to. Because when you're so apologetic, that means something is wrong with you. Psychologically. Nice, respectful, dignity. This is who we are, right? But showing that mercy of Islam that has as well. I remember, years ago, we had a neighbor, she was sick. And I said, oh, how are you feeling? She was an elder lady. Yeah, she was living alone. I told my wife, to make some soup for her. She already didn't need it. She made some Iranian, turnip soup that was good for getting cold. I brought it for her. She was so amazed. They don't see these things happen, right? So amazed by this. And then she was so shocked. And then when she wanted to return the dish, she returned, I think, with something she put in it, and a beautiful, lovely note with a card. I said, khalas, that's enough for us. Although I didn't do it for any responsibility, how it's good to do. But sometimes you see Allah, Allah bi jiranikum. Be nice to your jiran and your neighbors. Allah, Allah fil Quran la yasbiqukum bil amal bihi ghayrukum. Few more minutes, inshallah, I finish. I recommend you with Allah to make sure you take care of Quran. You follow Quran. Make sure let me ask you a question. Our daily life, from the scale of 0 to 10, 10 is the highest, the most possible way. 0 is 0. How much are you involved with Quran? Practically. I'm not just saying Quran recitation. Following Quran. How many times I open Quran and I say, let me see, Why am I saying it? Because Quran said itself, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Ya ayyuhan nas, qad ja'akum burhanun min rabbikum, wa anzalna ilaykum nuran mubina. Nur mubin is the brightest, amazing nur and light can guide you. Allah says, I sent you that nur that can support you and guide you. Misbah is hidayat for you, right? If I understand and I follow it. This nur hidayat of Allah, how it can guide me through this path. That I read, I think about it. How many times I sit down with my children, how about this? 1 ayah per day. I'm not saying 1 page. 1 ayah per day, recite a translation, think about it a little bit. If I add a little bit of the tafsir into it, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, how about that? Believe me, before you notice half of Quran, the whole Quran you reviewed. I'm being very, very, very not fair to Quran to saying 1 ayah per day, by the way. Right? Very disrespectful the way that I said. I should say more and more. I just want to make sure that no one has excuse to say, oh man. If there is a book published and it says, this is the biography, Bill Gates published the secrets behind his success. How many volumes of that book will be sold, do you think? Or this one or that entrepreneur, right? Oh my God, there is one. What if I tell you the book that the secrets behind the success of 124,000 the most successful people is in that book? Not just one. Right? What made them to be successful? From the most authentic source possible author that you can find. Sometimes we take it for granted, right? When children, they have their mothers always cook for them, take care of them, they don't appreciate. When the mother travels, the food is not there all the time, or dad cannot cook as well, then they realize, oh my God, how nice was that to have a warm, beautiful, tasty food. وَنُنَزِّلُ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ مَا هُوَ شِفَاءٌ وَرَحْمَةٌ. Shafa, cure for you. If I believe in it, this is not a joke or symbol or exaggeration. It says shafa. I'm going to give you what does it mean shafa. From cognitive perspective, how Quran is shafa. From psychological perspective, look at this. What Quran says, هُوَ الَّذِي أَنزَلَ السَّكِينَةَ فِي قُلُوبِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. When you recite Quran, when you follow Quran, it brings sakina, peace. It brings tranquility in the hearts of. I have some clients, they're dealing with depression, anxiety. When I ask them, is there anything that you do, it helps you to calm down at the moment of anxiety? Besides just the spiritual things, I'm like, it's a very general question. Do you do anything? It can be exercising, cooking, going out, talking to someone. Like, they're open to say, like, yeah, actually, you know what? Some of them say, when I start reciting some ayah Quran, it helps me to calm down. It's like, right? When I say some zikr, it helps me. Oh, all right. So you already have the solution, right? What else do you want me to add into this? Make sure for temporary perspective, while we're working on the permanent solution, that you make sure you have this as well. For someone, cooking can help. Very good, mashallah, right? For this person, reciting Quran can, psychologically, it helps them to calm down. From the behavioral perspective, right? What Quran says, patience, self-control. Control your anger, control your wrath. وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا. Who is supposed to make you man and woman, Surah Rum says, to find tranquility and peace, to control your behavior. Remember Nuh, remember Musa, remember Isa. The Quran keeps referring to these people, right? What happened to them? How? أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَتْمَئِنُّ الْقُلُوبِ. With the zikr of Allah, those qulubs and hearts will become calm. It's not going to work for everyone, by the way. It's not Advil that whoever just take it is going to get better. No, we're not going to fail. Only for لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. It works for those people who have taqwa and they believe in it to work. Because for medicine, if you even hold someone's hand, you put it in their mouth, it might work, right? But when it comes to psychological perspective, when it comes to spiritual perspective, I should believe in it to follow, right? Physical health, you go Quran, ayat of Quran, what he's talking about, different things, all aspect, But what do we do? Quran says, Ya Rabbi inna hadha al-qawm ittakhadhu hadha al-Qur'ana mahjura. Really not. If I want to tell you, last time I checked my social media, this and that and everything else, and last time I checked Quran. We forget about Ramadan. Alhamdulillah, Ramadan is month that we all do it, right? إن البيت, I finish with this section. إن البيت إذا كثر فيه تلاوة القرآن. When in a house, the family members increase the recitation of Quran in that house. كثر خيره. The khair and goodness of that house will be increased. واتسع أهله وأضاء لأهل السماء كما تضيء نجوم السماء لأهل الدنيا. That house will be so shiny for the angels, for Ahl al-Sama, the way that the stars are shining for the Ahl al-Ard, the people of the earth. When you look at the sky, you see that there's some stars are shinier than the other ones, right? Some of them are brighter than the other one at night. It's saying those houses, the recitation of Quran is more. For angels, they're shinier than other houses. And when it's shinier and brighter, what does it mean? It catches their attention, right? The khair is more for those people as well. Then, very quickly, inshallah, Amiral Mumin says, Allah, Allah fi salat. These are the thing that towards the end of his life, most important thing he's saying, salat. The first thing at the day of judgment, they will ask you about salat. Your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Your 5 times, being connected with Him. Allah, Allah fi bayti rabbikum, hajj. Make sure you don't get away from it. Allah, Allah fi al-jihad b'amwalikum wa anfusikum wa alsinatikum fi sabilillah. Do jihad and, put your effort towards the jihad of your wealth, your nafs, and alsinatikum. Interesting. Control your tongue. Jihad of the tongue. Jihad of the tongue. Fi sabilillah. Make sure you do not leave amma ma'roof. Make sure. So once you put this all together and you see that the recommendation of that our Imam, and if we only look at from this perspective, from personal perspective, Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, he's recommending. From social perspective, Aitam, from others' perspective, other people's, society, spiritual perspective. In these few phrases I recited for you, it's so society, it's personal, it's spiritual, it's psychological, it's everything mixed with it, his recommendation. The only thing left is that if I can practice those things, if I can follow those things. Today was the day of Shahadat of Amiral Momineen Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam. Kufa doesn't have Ali anymore. All those enemies, all those who were against him, when they send the khabar of the Shahadat of Amir al-Mu'mineen to his enemy Muawiyah, he was upset. Even Muawiyah became, what did he say? He said the entire mother of Dahr, the world, would not give birth to anyone like Ali. Muawiyah said that. Ali was unique. But at the day of Shahadat of Ali, I want you to go to Kufa. Let's go to Masjid Kufa. The masjid that every day, night and day, and Zohr and Asr and Fajr time, Ali was in Masjid Kufa in Mihrab. Dua and munajat of Ali is already over. No one is there. If you go to the alleys of Kufa that Ali was walking, and at night he was taking and bringing food for Aitam of Kufa, no one is knocking on the door of the Aitam of Kufa anymore. If you go to the house of Amir al-Mu'mineen, that's the only place that you see the sounds and the voice of crying and shivan for Ali. Oh, now Aitam of Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ya Ali, you recommended everyone to be kind to yatim. But who was kind to your yatim, to Aitam of Zahra, salamullah alayha, Imam Hassan and Hussein, Zainabain, when they lost their mother, they were little, 5, 6, 4, around these ages, who was there for them, Ya Ali?
It was Ali by himself alone taking care of them. Musibat of Ali is Musibat of Zahra and vice versa. When Amir al-Mu'mineen buried Fatima, when he was coming back to the house, he said, I saw Zainab on the janamaz of her mother. Hassanain on one corner of the house, Kulthum on one side. The house that doesn't have a mother doesn't have Noor. And now I'm asking you, Ya Ali, that you also left them, how they are feeling without having their father. Although your children are older, Ya Ali, but their hearts going for you. What situation, Ali? They saw their father being tortured all around his life. Amir al-Momineen said that after my bulugh, when I was since with Rasulullah, I was tortured in difficulties until the end of my life. And now this Ali, he left this dunya. He left this dunya to go to Rasulullah, to Zahra salamullahi alayha. And Ali left his aitam after himself. And now the enemies know how to do with children of Amir al-Mu'mineen al-Zahra. Ya Ali, with all your difficulties, with whatever happened to you, we know how difficult from the beginning. But no one came after your Shahadat to burn your tents in front of you. Ya Ali, no one pulled the earrings from the ears of your children in front of you. Ya Ali, no one disrespected your body after you, Ya Ali. Ya Ali, no one took your clothing out of your body as they did to your son Hussein. Ya Ali, that's why you recommended your son Abbas, Ya Abbas, in Karbala, be there, take care of your brother Hussein. Usually, it's opposite. They recommend the older brother to take care of the little one, the younger one. But here it was opposite. Abbas, Hussein doesn't have mother in Karbala. Abbas Jan, be loyal to your brother Hussein. And he was loyal until the last moment that he fell down from the horse, calling, Ya Akha, Adrik Akha, oh brother, come and help your brother. Assalamu alayka ya Amir al-Mu'mineen. السلام عليك يا ابن أبي طالب أخي رسول الله Inshallah, we have the tawfiq to go to Inshallah, Najaf to visit. Assalamu alayka ya Abul Hassan ya Amir al-Mu'mineen. Imagine you standing in front of the Ivan in Najaf. Ya Ali ibn Abi Talib ya Hujjatul ala khalqi. يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستجبنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا. If you have any hajat, Bismillah. يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا. يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا. One more time, inshallah, Hajjat Zuhur Imam of us. يا وجيها عند الله ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج العافية والنصر ومد في عمره الشريف وزين الأرض بطول بقائه واجعلنا من عوانه وأنصاره وشيعته. يا رحمن يا رحيم ثبت قلوبنا على دينك. بحق أمير المؤمنين يا الله, hasten the ظهور of his son Imam Mahdi. Us and our generation, let us be among the best of his followers. Give us the tawfiq of khidmat to your khalq.
Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, help our children, our youth, make them successful in dunya wal akhirah. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, remove all the obstacles towards their marriage. Ya Allah, those who have hajat and requests, my respected brothers and sisters, give them all khair hajat. Those around the world who are under difficulties in Yemen, Bahrain, Palestine, Pakistan, anywhere specifically, the muhibbeen of Amir al-Momineen provide opportunity for their success, for their comfort, and inshallah freedom. Those who are sick, بحق Imam Sajjad, cure them at this moment. Those who passed away, send the thawab and reward from our gatherings to their souls. رحم الله من يقرأ الفاتحة مع الصلوات. اللهم صل على محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وعجل اللهم في فرج مولانا صاحب الزمان صلى الله عليك يا رسول الله صلى الله عليك يا حبيب الله. السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين يعصوب الدين. السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين. السلام عليك يا أبا محمد يا حسن بن علي. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك وعلى تسعة المعصومين من ذريتك. صلى الله عليك يا صاحب الزمان يا إمام الإنس والجن يا شريك القرآن. الأمان الأمان ورحمة الله وبركاته. صلوات.